Okay, so we are here live with and you have to help me pronounce your name. It's Anne-Laure,
Anne-Laure.
Anne-Laure, Anne-Laure, Anne-Laure Cunff. Is that right?
No.
That's the American way I see it.
Yeah, it's Anne-Laure Le Cunff.
Anne-Laure Le Cunff.
But
Okay.
you don't have to say my last name.
Sorry.
I think you can just say my first name.
And
It's okay.
Anne-Laure. Okay. All right. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
So I have been working in tech for a little while. I started at Google like 5 years ago, where I was an intern first, and then started working in marketing in the business unit in London. Then moved to San Francisco and lovely Mountain View, still with Google, where I worked with on which didn't work out. And since this year, I've been bootstrapping stuff. So yeah, I've basically went rather than going from being employed to maker, I did the full-time employed startup founder the regular way, working with VCs and all of that jazz, which was quite shitty to be honest. And now bootstrapper maker.
Oh wow. Okay. So, taking the from the beginning, you left Google. Why did you decide to leave Google?
So first I was what I like to call a Google baby because that was the only job I ever had. I went there straight from uni, and uh, and so I think I was very lucky and grateful to work there. But and I know it's an objective for lots of people to work there, and I think it's an awesome company. But I after a while, I basically didn't really see how I would keep on growing and really challenging myself. You have an amazing support system there. You have lots of money. I was working in marketing, and my budgets were quite big, and uh, and you end up very quickly in those very big companies working on one tiny thing where you're supposed to be the best at it and being a specialist, but anything else that is even slightly outside of the scope of what your role is supposed to be, you have another team doing it. And if I was at a stage in my life where I wanted to do as little as possible and making as much money as possible, this would probably be one of the best and most comfortable combos that you would have. But I still I want to learn, and I still want to feel like I'm out of my comfort zone. So I left when it became too comfortable, in essence.
Nice. Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. I've always the reason I became a software engineer and then why I've recently quit that is just feeling bored and just
Yeah.
wanting, instead and most people that I know that are maybe not doing some of that stuff that people on the stream are doing are they wait a long time to when they feel that way they just wait. Like for me and probably for you, it's just like, all right, well, time to go, and I'm not going to wait for them to give me more duties. I'm just going to go do it for myself.
Yeah, exactly. I think between the time I decided to leave, I basically decided to leave a bit as a like New Year resolution at the time, and then I was like gone 2 months later. So yeah, definitely quick.
So then you went and started a startup after that. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah. So then I started a company which was, I mean, I was going to say it was an AI company, but it was supposed to be, but we never got to the stage where I like it would be lying to say it was actually AI at the stage. It was lots of things that were not that scalable that we were doing at the beginning, and and so yeah, we basically like tried to raise money. I did all of the thing of having meetings after meetings with investors, and quite honestly feeling like bit dirty begging for money because what I wanted to do tech wise was quite ambitious, and I had a CTO, and but we needed more work with us on this to make it happen. And and after and we did get a few angels that offered us money after a while because they were excited by the idea, etc. But we decided with my co-founder that it was just like probably not a good idea to keep on working on this, that we were probably not the best people to do it either. and looking at the progress that companies like Amazon and Google, etc., have done in the AI space, I definitely think that we were not going to be the ones to do this, which is why I'm like currently more excited about working on things that I can ship a little bit quicker and be useful quickly too, and put it in the hands of people using it as quickly as possible, which is the polar opposite of the approach we had for this failed startup.
And so, did you guys shut the startup down? How long ago was that?
That was beginning of this year.
Wow. Okay. So once you shut down that startup,
Yeah.
how did you come across this world of makers?
So I've known this world for a while. Like I've been, using Product Hunt as a hunter for a little while too, and I've always been interested in it, and I kind of like knew it and these things. It's just that it's only this year that I started thinking, hey, why don't I build stuff myself? I think lots of people have helped with this because I think at the very beginning of the movement, lots of non-coders felt a bit like it wasn't for them. And since then, there's been lots of work done by Ben and lots of people to basically evangelize the fact that you can also build really good no-code products, and it's really more about the value rather than the complexity of the way you're building the. So I think that's why this year has been the year where I felt more comfortable being like, hey, okay, I'm not an engineer by trade, but I can actually build stuff, and it's a little bit like more hacking and copying and pasting bits of pieces, like, bits and pieces there and there. So this is why it's quite terrifying. It was terrifying at the beginning, just live streaming the whole process. But yes, I think what pushed me to do it and was and the fact that the community has been really open to including people who are not necessarily hardcore coders either.
Nice. So, what are some of the projects that you've worked on since you have dived into the actual making?
Yeah. So I basically, when I decided, go from hunting products to making products, I was like, okay, I'm going to give myself 5 days to do something. And I hadn't touched a line of code of anything in so many years. So that was fun. I created a super simple website called Instalist, where that basically lists all of the best Instagram spots in the world. So you basically go on there and you like pick a location. I know I like Instagram,
That's great.
and and if you're in a place only for a couple of days and you just want to show all of your followers how amazing your life is, and you think and you to go to these beautiful spots, the ones that even after they will always look good in photos. You have like 2, 3 options per location. I did that. It was funny. It was I think for someone like well, they would be like, okay, I had why days and not I got and then I was like, I did the first one. Now, what else do I want to do? So I've worked on another project that is just it's called Diversity 30. It's a collection of portraits of make not that you see in the media. So it's really focusing on women and people of color and LGBTQ plus people, etc. And then the latest thing I've done is writing that ebook, which was for the Women Make Challenge, where I wrote that ebook in 30 days. And I just figured that I know a lot about marketing because of my previous life. And that I know that lots of makers are struggling with marketing, and they frankly, and I think there's also lots of so-called gurus that are trying to make it sound more complicated than it is. It's really not complicated. So I was like, okay, I have 30 days because I'm really short and super actionable. So I'm just going to write that and do it. And it was also a good opportunity for me to learn how to use Amazon as a publishing platform and all of these kind of things. So that was the latest thing that I did.
What's the name of the ebook?
Make and Shine.
Make and
And
Shine.
it even has a .com that was available, which is really cool.
That's amazing. I want to ask you about your tips
Yeah.
for marketing, but first I want to ask you, how was it writing the ebook? how much work did you put in, and was it stressful,
Yeah.
and what did you learn?
So to kind of like I'm a very disorganized person, and so I kind of realized after I committed to do that ebook that so it was supposed to be over the course of October that I had 10 days of a road trip in Algeria. I'm half French, half Algerian that I was taking with my parents with no internet in the middle of October. And then I had 5 days of neuroscience exams on the back of that. So I only had internet with like, that where I could work. And I was like, okay, shit, but I guess that's going to force me to be even more intense. So I would say that in terms of number of days I worked on it, it wasn't that long, but it was really productive hours. I get very distracted with Twitter and Telegram and all of these kind of things, but all of these days I worked on the ebook. I was like, no notifications, nothing, just like working on this thing. And yeah, I've rarely been this productive, I think. So yeah, of work, and I would say 10 days of actually writing the thing, and then 5 days of working on the marketing itself, which needed to be good considering it was a book about marketing. So to be shit or the website to look shit, because I don't think people would have taken me seriously if that was the case.
What were the challenges? I know a lot of people struggle with getting writing done. It's hard to finish a book. What were some of the challenges, and what did you learn through writing?
Yeah, I think so. One of the main challenge for me was because, and I would recommend in any case that if anyone wants to do an ebook, to do it on something they already know very well. I know as makers, we love learning new stuff, but in that specific case, if the goal is to share your knowledge, right? But because you're in a situation where you know quite a bit about your topic, and so I think for me, like the challenge was to really try and focus on the essential stuff there and cutting, and also the fact that I didn't have a lot of time in any case, I had to kind of stay focused. So I did spend a lot of time cutting stuff actually, just to make sure that I would have time to do it. So figuring out what is very important. The second thing that was also was to try and figure out the level of details and the actual content that I put in there, because again, because of the audience of makers, like, super curious, smart people who want to really understand how things work, you kind of want to strike that right balance between giving something that's useful, and but not spending too much time going into too much details, and like letting them do some of the work too, because I think everyone appreciates doing that and adapting it to their stuff. So yeah, and then I didn't have time to have anyone to reread it. So I know that there are exactly 2 typos in the version that everyone is getting right now. No one who's bought it has noticed so far. So I think it's okay.
Well, shout out.
So I told myself that I would correct the typos only if a customer emails me to tell me about them.
That's funny because Peter Levels did Makebook, and it had so many
Yeah.
typos, and I hope he's watching right now. But I emailed him like 3 different typos. I don't think he even fixed it.
Yeah.
I remember seeing on Twitter too. Someone like commented, "Hey, you have a typo here." So I don't think it matters.
Well, so yeah, for everyone watching, if you catch any typos, you can tell me and I'll fix it, or you can not tell me, and this way I will not have to work more on this.
Awesome. Okay, so more.
Oh no, someone noticed. Someone on my chat on Twitch said I noticed. Thanks for not telling me.
Nice. Okay, so about the book, can you give us like
Yeah.
a rundown of the best marketing tips for makers, especially people that are launching on Product Hunt and doing it as solo founders?
Yeah. I guess like the whole like the whole principle behind the book is to basically stop hiding behind, like, people spend a lot of time designing this perfect logo and working on their landing page and these kind of things, and I think these things are also great things to do, but as indie makers you don't have a recognizable brand. You don't have, like, people are not going to just like look at what you're doing like the way a typical brand would do it and be like, okay, yes, shut up and take my money, just because I know that this brand is a brand that that is already respected in the industry. So what you want to do really is connect with your audience on the, just like admit the fact that you're just that one person behind your laptop, and be super open, and basically involve your target audience in the process of making and building the product, uh, as these kind of things, all sorts of things that traditional brands don't do, but that indie makers should really be doing. And this way, in terms of marketing, it means that not only you're, getting the feedback and these kind of things, and I'm not talking about user research here, right? Like this is actually part of your marketing. That should be part of your marketing plan, to build in public, work with people, get their feedback. Like when I did the book, I posted all of the covers that I did and the different iterations on different Telegram groups, and people helped me pick the cover. And so, everyone feels more excited about the final product when they feel that they to it. And so, yeah, I think the main thing is that, like, work in public, stop hiding behind your products, and connect with your audience, talk to them, and start engaging with them way before the launch day. Like, you're not going to be successful if the first time people hear about your product is the day you post it on Product Hunt.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I don't think Ethan's watching right now, but Ethan Boulagouche, he does a great job of that, of literally just tweets and retweets everything and shares everything live. And it's a good point. Like,
Yeah,
people, and I was talking with Ben about this earlier, people have like this idea that the Product Hunt launch is what's going to make or break their launch. But in reality, there's just like so much more. Oh, Ethan is on there. Nice. He's in the chat. Um, but yeah, the pre-launch stuff, and that's something that we've done for 24hourstartup.com. Obviously, if
yeah,
you've seen, like, it's just, you can't miss it on Twitter, because we have just built the whole thing in the public, instead of just like making a date and then having it go, or just like making a date and then not talking about it until today. It wouldn't have been very big, but constantly
exactly.
talking about it. Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that I feel like that, what makes this work so well is that now it doesn't feel like it's you three, like people, just three people who are just like, launching this into the world. I think the way you did it, like everyone in the community feels like they're organizing this together, and every time it's participate, everyone is actually telling their friends and their own followers about it, and it becomes this huge collective effort that is 10 times bigger you could have achieved if it was just three people.
Right. Okay. So there's going to be hundreds of products launched in the next 2 days. What kind of advice would you give to, especially some of the people that have a lesser following, on how to, because when they launch, again, they might have this idea that the Product Hunt means everything. What else can they do
Yeah,
to, over the long term, have a successful product and
yeah.
not give up on that?
So I think first they should totally capitalize on the to get from this, because I think that anyone with even a small following is going to get a lot more viewers and people to kind of like follow what you're doing than they would have if they were doing this on their own in their corner. So maybe like one of the first thing I would do is, build like a landing page and capture the email addresses of anyone who's coming during the live stream, and while they're doing the live stream, to tell them, hey, by the way, like, if you want to, if you want, I haven't done this, by the way. I'm not even following my own advice for, because I've been fighting with my MacBook that's crashing all the time too. But people are going to drop in and drop off, etc. And so, but those are all potential people that you would want to know about your product when you launch. So if you have a way of capturing them, that would probably be better. Great way to grow their audience if they only have like 100 followers right now or something like this. And then the second thing is that you say that 100 products are going to be launched in the next couple of days. I think there are two different things. There's going live, and then there's launching. So I think products are going to go live and be maybe launched with like tweets or whatever, but their actual proper launch, like maybe people can take a couple more weeks to actually work on them better, and like just like like, and maybe even if they're part of different like Telegram groups, and I don't know if we're going to do that with 24-hour startup, but kind of like synchronize all together. So we're like, okay, this day we're launching these like 5 products or whatever, and come behind these people and tell their friends about it and retweet, etc. So I definitely think that whatever support you can get from the community, you should try and get. So yeah, that would be my main advice. No need to really rush to properly. Just make sure that you have the right community of people behind you to help you do it.
Yeah, I agree. Someone had asked me like, "Oh, well, I don't even want to launch or something like that," and I just said like, "You're gonna have 300 people that are gonna support your launch. So as long as just tell them they're going to be potential users, people that are going to help upvote you on different platforms and help spread the word. So even if your product at launch is buried
Yeah,
in a crazy sea of launches, it's still, as long as you, like you're saying, after you launch a startup, like spend a lot of time on it, like weeks after, and still see if it's a good idea, and try all your launches and exhaust all your possible opportunities. Yeah.
yeah.
So a couple questions before you go is from the audience. Um, did you ever have fears of launching and putting yourself out there, and what would be your advice on how to conquer these fears for other people that have that?
Yeah. Um, I actually actually say something about it in my book, but more about public speaking. But I think it's very relevant. It's the same. I think just been to a conference or something like this, and the speaker on stage made a mistake. What did you feel and what did you think? Did you think like, oh my God, they're fucking stupid morons, or did you just like forget about it 2 seconds later? And this is audience is going to feel about any mistake you're doing. No one's going to think you're stupid. No one's going to be making fun of you, and people are more likely to be supportive. The best case scenario is that they're super supportive and super nice, and the worst case scenario is that they're not going to care. So I think this is a good way to think about it, to feel more comfortable doing this in public.
Cool. All right. One more question from the audience that I just got in the chat is ask Anne what she thinks about uh, what's something about marketing that very few people agree with, or like advice that's not given that you believe, or you don't hear people talking about it.
Oh gosh, wow, that's a really hard
Or
one.
talking about enough,
Um,
maybe.
I think like lots of people think that you need a lot of money to have effective marketing, and I don't think that's true. I don't know if that's controversial enough for you, because I don't think it is that controversial, but it is definitely something that's a little bit debated in the marketing community. Like some people think that you need to, go all the way of like performance marketing, Facebook ads, and these kind of things, and build a funnel and optimize it, and this is how you acquire users. I do think that there's a more organic way to do it and a more authentic way to do it that can also work really, really, really well. So yeah, maybe like not controversial, but this is something I think.
Cool. All right. Well, um, where can we find you on social media, and then also tell us all the projects, link us to those.
Yeah, so on social media, you can. Oh, I think lots of people actually wonder how I pronounce my own username, because I called and I didn't speak English, and I thought it
Yes.
was really cool, but no one knows how to pronounce it. So I pronounce it Antilemoon, which
Until
is not helping you at all, because you're like, oh, whatever. So that's how you say it in French. And yeah, I spend a lot of time on Twitter, so that's like one of the easiest way to find me. I'm on Telegram too, but the groups are so busy that I just like read a couple of things time to time. So I think if people want to talk to me directly, like just like tweet at me, DM me on Twitter. That's the easiest.
Cool. And then how do we find your book and your projects?
Yeah, so the book is at makeandshine.com. And the oh, actually, I might, because I'm like streaming to other people too here. Um, I just like redone redid my personal uh website yesterday. So I'm just like going to show people. I'm super proud of it. It's really pretty. Yeah, so Anne-Laure.net. That's my website that has all of the links to all of the different things I'm working on. And I
Okay.
don't know where you are now. There you are. Cool.
I'm typing that into the chat so everyone has it. All right. Well, you're starting the 24-hour
Awesome.
startup now, right?
I started like probably like an hour
Okay.
ago. Yeah.
All right. Well, good
So
luck,
just
and
getting
everyone on
thank you.
that's on the stream, go check out her 24-hour startup.
Cool.
All
Bye.
right.
Good luck to you
Thanks.
too.
See ya.